See, this is the problem why certain people like me are not bigger. Exposure. That's all these motherfuckers have, man. I don't believe nothing they've done is better than Necro shit. I'm not even going to say, oh, Necro's better than Third Base or Joe Budden. Even though I do think I'm better than anything Search has ever did solo-wise and better than anything Joe Budden's done solo-wise, I'm not saying that. You don't say that. You know why I don't say that? Because nobody gives a fuck about that. Like, people who like Necro, I'm not in competition with that kind of shit. I'm in competition with Cool G Rap. I'm in competition with Big Pun. You understand? That's the kind of caliber of shit that people compare me to. Nobody's listening to Necro and goes, oh, but I like Joe Budden better. Or Search. People listen to Necro and they're going to mention Vinny Paz. That's the caliber of MCs. So I'm mentioning those people to make a point so you can understand certain things. They all they've had is exposure. Like G-Eazy. That dude fucking sucks. Okay. Do you listen to G-Eazy?
No.
Okay.
I've never heard a single song.
Why is he so huge? Because Too Short co-signed him. He represents Oakland area, and he's commercial. And somebody stupid like Diplo put him on. It's not because he fucking came up in the New York underground and he's awesome and people love him. And nah, it's of course his fans are gonna be like, "Fuck Necro, what the hell is that shit?" You understand what I'm saying? It's like it's everything's marketing and how promoted you are and who's co-signing you.
Right.
You know, and especially if you have a black cosign, then all of a sudden, see, blacks, they might not fuck with you if you don't have a black cosign. I don't really have a black cosign because Kool G Rap never really co-signed me. Even though he did a whole album with me, he didn't publicly go out there and do what you kind of see Jadakiss is doing with Millie's or what maybe it
No,
seemed.
wait. No, I gotta disagree with you because he did a lot of interviews talking about the album, and he did interviews with you and everything.
No, G-Rap did, but what I'm saying is G-Rap did not promote the album to his social media. He did not tell his fans to go get the album. He doesn't even really do that in general, and he did not rap at any place I went up to. So it was kind of like perceived as like G-Rap is chaperoning this guy, but not really doing it like a group. The only time we rapped was on Sway. And here's the thing. Credit to G-Rap for doing the little bit that he did, because that's more than he's ever done. But it's not really like a cosign. Like G-Rap never. We were up at Rosenberg, and Rosenberg asked him what his top 10 are, and he didn't even mention Necro, even honorable mention, but he mentioned Eminem.
Right.
So if you're co-signing me and I'm putting it out an album with you, wouldn't you say, yeah, da 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 da, honorable mention, Necro at 11 or 12? I mean, then why the fuck are you doing a full album with me if I'm not even honorable mention?
All right, well, let me ask you this, okay? Because so are you guys
And
not?
G-Rap was very nice to me, but I'm just saying that's an example that if you were co-signing me, do you think if Jadakiss went up and was asked who are your 10 favorite, or who's your current favorite, or your favorite white boy, you think Jadakiss is going to say Eminem but then not mention Millie's? He's invested in Millie's.
I see what you're saying.
The problem with G-Rap, and we talked about it recently, is I should have given G-Rap a percentage of Necro's money. He made money off of Godfather's the album, but I never stepped to G-Rap and said, what if I give you like 10% of everything I bring in? And now you co-sign me. I didn't think about it at the time. At the time, I was so enthralled with making a good record with G-Rap and getting his approval on lyrics and beats, because I produced the whole album too, that I didn't even think of taking it further. I didn't want to be overly overbearing. So I thought, I'm already doing an album with G-Rap. I already bond with the guy. I'm already paying for certain things. You know, when he comes to New York, his hotel, and then we're going to Quad Studio. Like, I didn't want to then be like, hey, how about I give you a percentage of my career and then you co-sign me, like, you know, like really, really tell people to fuck with me. You know what I mean?
You would have really did that?
Nah, he didn't. And that's why with the Godfather's album, my fan base loved it. but it didn't really get the love from black hip hop world. His fan base was probably like, who the fuck is this white kid? G-Rap didn't really make it clear to his fan base, yo, I fucks with this white kid on that level. Besides the things that you saw, that wasn't enough because
But
people
let
are,
me ask you this though. So are you guys still cool though? Or there
yeah, I
was like
mean, but
some resentment from that?
nah, no resentment because I can't resent Cool G Rap when he's my idol and he's one of my biggest influences. So, I spoke with G Rap recently, but he has a lot going on now. Shout out to Cool G Rap. He's doing a drink, he's doing clothing, he has like a deal with Rock Nation. But, remember, this is 10 years ago that I did the album with him in 2012.
Right.
I caught him at a right time. And look, we bonded like nephew and uncle. But I'm just trying to tell you, so you can understand, Jadakiss has money and is getting money from Millie's. Jadakiss doesn't co-sign somebody for free. It's a smart business guy.
Got you.
His father owns a coffee company. He was on Drink Champs talking about how smart they are in business. So you got to bet that if Millie's is getting money, that some of it is going to Jadakiss. I didn't have a relationship with G-Rap like that. My relationship was just to do the Godfather's album,
Mm-hmm.
which he got 50% of the profits from and paid a little bit up front. I gave him 5 G's up front to do the whole album, which was supposed to be an EP. But he ended up liking me so much and loving everything that I brought him, and he approved everything that we ended up doing 18 songs approximately. And I didn't pay him an extra dime over the 5G up front. He just agreed that we would fucking split the album profit after recouping. So G-Rap was very nice to me. You have to understand, G-Rap was nicer to me than he's ever really been to anybody. He doesn't do those kind of things. But G-Rap is a different kind of businessman than, let's say, a Jadakiss is.
Right.
You understand? Jadakiss is in his own class by himself. But if I would have told G at the time, yo, G, I bring money in, I get money. What if I hit you with like a G a month from my money, 10% or 20%? Can you, because listen, he was doing the album with me, but his fan base probably was wondering, why this white kid?
Right.
You understand? He's never done a song with Eminem. Eminem's never reached out to him. He kind of told me the reason why. I'm not going to reveal it, but Eminem's never done a song with the legendary Kool G-Rap. He could easily offer G-Rap 5 G's, 10 G's, and get him on something. Like, you know what I'm saying? G-Rap is a cool dude like that. But, so people are not used to seeing G-Rap with a white guy on my level. A lot of his diehard fans that grew up with him in the 80s, I think it would have taken G-Rap to tell them, yo, you need to fuck with dude. Dude is the new shit. He's influenced by me. You understand what I'm saying? Remember, I don't have Loud and Fat Joe the way the Pun had. So Pun didn't need Cool G-Rap to co-sign him when he had Loud and that. I only had G-Rap at the time. G-Rap I don't think it was in his nature to do that. He's never done it for anyone else. I would have had to give him a percentage. This only dawned on me recently when I was thinking of making videos. I was like, you know something? Because I was looking at the Jadakiss Millie situation. I said, Jadakiss is definitely getting paid off this dude. A percentage. He's getting something. Like, if that guy gets 20 G's, Jadakiss has got to be getting like 2, 3 G's from that. Just on the strength. Management deal, something. You know what I mean? So I should have given that to G-Rap at the time, and then maybe G-Rap would have did things that he didn't do at the time. You know what I mean? Because G-Rap has a lot of influence. He doesn't really use it really because he's not that kind of guy. But who would tell G-Rap no if he called them? They'd be like, "Oh, it's G-Rap, it's G-Rap." So listen, it was a fumble on my part, but I was juggling a lot, beat making, making sure G-Rap was happy. Like I made sure he was happy. What do I mean by that? By, all aspects dealing with Godfathers I would pay for. He didn't have to come out of pocket. I treated him as royalty. He can never say, oh, when I did the album with Necro, it was annoying because he's corny or whatever. You know what I mean? I gave G-Rap that legendary respect from a financial point of view in the deal as well as artistically. And listen, it took a lot, because I wanted the album to be incredible. You know what I mean? It meant a lot to me. And here's the great thing: my fan base love it. Any Necro fan will tell you, unless they never heard of G-Rap. Oh, I just got up on him. Any Necro fan that knows G-Rap and understands, they love Godfathers. That's like a fucking hit, classic record. But you can go to a G-Rap fan, and he might not know about the Godfathers, which is sad. Which is sad. That's whack. But you know what's incredible about that, though? Something that's bizarre as hell. I noticed on the Nas Illmatic playlist, the last song on the Nas Illmatic playlist is a Godfather's track.
Right. I saw you talk about this on No Jumper.
Yeah,
right. Somebody added it.
Right, and you can only do that if you're part of Nas's camp or part of the record label. Because how would you have access to Nas's Spotify?
Right.
So somebody at the time who liked what me and G were doing, it's like, yo, I want to get this more light. So I'm going to put this track on the Illmatic, because then people will hear it and think it was there on purpose, which is great because that song is huge on Spotify. Like, it did well. But listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. I love G-Rap. G-Rap did not promote Godfathers in the way that his fan base saw me as that unknown that he's taken under his wing, cosign. The way that I promoted the album, like I'm doing an album with G-Rap the Legend.
Right.
So my fans love it, but his fans probably don't acknowledge it as much. But here's the cool thing. It's on his Spotify because we did an album together. So anyone who likes to deep dive into G-Rap is going to have to listen to Godfathers at some point. Maybe they'll be turned on to Necro through that. So it's like, it's in history. It's there. You know what I mean? But, that there's been people that have interviewed him and will talk about his history and life and try to leave Godfathers out. That's that hater shit, bro. And it'll be a white interviewer too, who knows who the fuck I am.